Wasted so much time on people who should've just been ignored. If I slow down now, I'll pump the brakes. What was it all for? What was it all for? What was it all for? I'ma make this shit count though.
Those lives when he had, you know, he was wearing the jury, he was wearing the red feather, and all,
yes,
he would say little things that we cross-referenced and took it right to Osiris, right in Kemet. That's why I used to always ask people on the House of Unconsciousness, you know, y'all keep talking about religious people gods, where the Egyptian gods at? Because y'all keep trying to say what their gods are not doing. Okay, where are the Egyptian gods at? They just disappeared. What happened? And so they don't understand because they don't have noon and they don't have real knowledge of spirits. They just use the term spiritual. Oh yes, Kemet has a spiritual system.
Yeah.
How can you have a spiritual system without spirits?
Yes.
Where's the spirits to the spiritual system?
Yes.
And because of that non-knowing is why it's a gap there. Like they say, it's a God of the gap for Christians and all of that. It's a gods of the gap for those who claim to be teaching Kemet. That's why when you look at Jabbar and the rest of them, they give reference and they'll give reverence to Ma'at and all that stuff. But give me their locale. Because it sounds like you just repeating stuff that they wrote thousands of years ago that they deciphered. Give me their locale, please.
Yeah.
I just want to know, if you such a priest, and if you're a priest, that means you got to be dealing with spirits. Where are they?
And where's the power? And where's the power? Where is it manifested? Power? Yeah.
You'll never see it. That's why Filthy Frank has never gotten anywhere. He had Africa on the back of his logo, which Queen's Thrones had designed, and he don't want to tell nobody that. She had to make it known why you calling her all these names. That logo with Sarnetta and all that.
Yes,
Queen's Thrones did that.
You see it?
See, even with all of that bashing, and got Brother Reggie over there talking about he don't care about the Comedics and that was dumb, and they should have spent more time building agriculture and building protection and said building the pyramids was a waste of time. He's an ignoramus. Number one. Number two, he ain't got kinky hair, so you ain't part of our race. So you part of mankind, and you know better than them who are talking about the descendants of Africa over there getting money and tour money, and you treating the modern day Africans like they're nothing. Yes. How does that make any sense?
None whatsoever.
So they all are anti-Black or anti-African or whatever name you want to use. And that's the problem that we're having with all of these people. Now, as far as Nature Boy is concerned, spiritually speaking, these people, there's a thing we call it's predestined, right? You have to add this stuff, and this is part of spirituality, meaning that people already were born to walk a certain path.
Yes.
So it's not like these people are just throwing a fishing line out there and a bunch of people and pull back these folks. These folks are destined to meet these folks. Everybody, that's for all of us. And so they all get a chance to pick a bunch of broken people. And I say this all the time. If people want to know what your weaknesses and strengths are, get you a natal chart. Don't get you a religion. Get your birth certificate and time of birth if you can. Go to astroseek.com or any of these free natal charts, or pay somebody to read your natal. They'll show you all of the planets, where they were when you were born, and they'll tell you when you was born, these planets was in alignment, these planets against each other, these planets and degrees that make you strong or weak at a certain point. That's how you know what's going on. That's the main thing that was taken from us. Outside of people keep talking about, oh, we lost, our knowledge of self. That's knowledge of true knowledge of self is knowing what was going on when you was born. And the stars in that planet, that's what they try to use in the Jesus story.
The way she described the coercion that it was non-consensual is that it was non-negotiable. As a member of this, if we want to call it a cult, we want to call it a congregation, whatever you want to call it, to be a member, it's non-negotiable. You need to have some form of sexual contact with this Eligio Bishop nature boy in this Carbon Nation. Your thoughts, Darnell, is this sexual assault? Is this non-consensual?
I just can't take this case seriously. It's like, is this the R. Kelly trial all over again? Is this Atlanta Housewives? Maybe the show?
Wait, R. Kelly got convicted, right?
Yeah. So
okay, so that was a crime. Yeah. So
I just can't. I mean, but there was underage kids. That was really the
right.
These
are adults. These are adults. I haven't heard an allegation yet about someone being underage.
Exactly. So these are adults, and she's saying it's non-negotiable. Most relationships aren't really negotiable. It's normally the woman who's holding you hostage. But she could have left if she wanted to. I haven't heard anything extraordinary here, except the fact that she thought, she's going to have a kid, she's going to be in love, she's going to be monogamous. It's like any other relationship. It didn't work, and she said a lot of times the sex wasn't voluntary. But this is going to be hard for a jury to wrap their heads around. They're going to be saying, is she crazy? Is he crazy? This is not a David Koresh type situation. It's just. It's everything from the original Koresh is the knockoff. This is the knockoff, and it's going to be a hard thing for the jury to find that she was coerced here. She could have left.
Jennifer Brandt, was this consensual, non-consensual? What are your thoughts about trying to figure out what was going on here in this Carbon Nation?
Well, first, Vinny, I have to say I'm worried about Darnell and his relationships, because if he thinks they're all non-negotiable, that's a problem right there. But regardless, as to this case, I mean, if it's rape, it's rape. If it's not, if she doesn't agree, and he's forcing himself upon her, I would call that rape, whether she's a young woman or older woman.
Well, let me ask you.
It didn't sound like it was consensual.
Right. Well, she's saying non-negotiable. So if the negotiation is in the morning, you have to engage in sex with me or you're out of the group.
With the time of birth, it was no stars moving. Stars can't move like that. But what they was hinting at was not saying what they saying was true per se, but the part about the wise men looking in that means they had to know how the bodies are moving to know what your life was going to be like. Not just where you was born, but how your life would be according to the natal chart, which been on the planet existing as long as the universes has been here. And so I'm a big proponent of get your natal chart. That'll tell you things better than any prophet or fake pastor or fake imam.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, a person that's in the tribe, whether you want to call them a witch doctor or whatever, if they got knowledge of the body of stars, you come out better going to them than follow anything that a modern day person is teaching. And look at us now. All of these in America and around the world, by extension, is really lax with laws to allow people like Nature Boy and them to consistently grow and do this dirt after dirt. Because right now, I mean, you can go on the internet and find another nature boy or nature girl somewhere that's still up and coming.
Yes.
And they'll watch them folks until they hurt and harm somebody. Then they want to come in and do something.
Yes.
So the government and the people who make laws are just as guilty.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why the cataclysm is scheduled to come by next year. Because when all of that happens, the earth have to reset and get rid of these people because the governments are too powerful. You can't make them do what's right because it's going to turn into a fight. The same way America is over there messing with, I think, Ghana because they don't want to accept homosexuality. And Nigeria and all these other places. To me, I think it's extreme because that means the lawmakers themselves have a religious viewpoint. Because I think most of the people, like the Ghana president, I think they are Christian to some extent.
Yeah.
And so they don't have, it's like you can't utilize certain parts of the Bible when the Old Testament under Paul said when Jesus died, the law died with him. So you can't use the Old Testament where it says man shouldn't sleep with man and all of that.
But all
That's
right
what they're
then.
doing.
Let me play righteous advocate with that.
Go ahead.
That is indeed written, but Yeshua HaMashiach, aka Jesus, said, "I came to fulfill, not to destroy the law." So whether Paul said that because Yeshua, Jesus is gone, that means the law's gone. The man himself didn't say that.
Right, but that's
Okay, yeah.
Right, but see, Josephus Piso, or Josephus, and them created all that because remember Christianity was created in Rome with Piso all the way up to Constantine. Them in Rome and Greece were big on homosexuality.
Yes.
So of course they created and say, oh, when this man passed, the law passed with it, and that's why they was able to get away with that. Over here in America, you can't openly practice it the way Rome and Greece was doing.
Indeed.
See, so and so a lot of these African countries, these leaders are not knowing about the history of the Bible and the characters and who touched it. They wholeheartedly believe the message and they see that, homosexuality is something wrong with it. But again, it's a spiritual aspect to it that you can't kill or beat the spirit out of a person. You can kill that person, that spirit gonna find another person and make them gay because that's the nature of the spirit. So this is what I'm saying. The spiritual laws and how to deal with that, none of these religions have the proper antidote for that. Noon has the proper antidote for that. And one of the things Noons deal with is reality. The reality is you got homosexual spirits and non-homosexual spirits that exist. And the fact that they exist, just like everything else, have to have space, are made of matter, and have to have a certain amount of time to exist. That's universal. If it's here, that means some higher law stated and provided the time and space for that to be there, whether we agree with it or not. And that's the problem about knowing the laws of nature is what Noon always telling us to investigate about the laws. I just think that, wait till you see the next video that I'm gonna drop after we get off of here. That's gonna go into some things, but Nature Boy is just a long line of, what should I say, spiritually perverted bastard children.
Yeah.
That the ruling authorities sees, and they're proud to see their offspring running around causing havoc
and chaos.
In chaos. They love that. That's why they let them get away. That's why they let Dr. York run so long. All these other people run so long. Matter of fact, right now, about 3 days ago in Polk County, Florida, the sheriff went live on Fox, I think, and said they caught 228 sex traffickers.
Yeah. I saw it. Yep.
And he had this banner, and they had at the top, and I'm paraphrasing that the FBI is allowing and helping these people commit these sex trafficking crimes. And some of the people he showed used to work for their department that was in the bus. But then he said when they caught one guy who had some women that was coming from New York, they was setting up shop. They say they have to pay this guy $3,000 every Friday as they go out there having sex and probably, help sex traffic at the same time. He said the people they caught, all of them told him.
This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the broadcast. This episode is sponsored by Supreme of the UK. Click the link in the description and support the broadcast.